beaming across the eastern townships from the heart of Brome-Missisquoi. This is 99.1 CITI.
Welcome to the Alternatives. You have choices. I'm your host, Ilya Kavoukas, and this show is brought to you by the Sunshine Center in Sutton. It is Alternative and Holistic Health Center. And this show is our community outreach from our center to you, the audience, to help you, to introduce to you the alternative world of medicine and provide you with information so that you can make your choice yourself. Today, I have a wonderful guest who is the second time she's here. Her name is Trisha Pope. Last week, she was on the show talking about sound therapy, and it was wonderful. Hello, Trisha.
Hello.
Nice to have you back.
Thank you.
Today, we're going to be talking about clairvoyance and what is it, and why is it important to have these abilities, and how you, the listener, can become a clairvoyant or get some basic training to be a clairvoyant to help yourself or help others. And before we get to that, I'd like to talk about our next venue, which will be the Ecosphere at the Brome Fairgrounds on the 24th and the 25th of September. It's coming up in a couple of weekends. I hope you all plan on being there. It's a wonderful fair that talks about all the environmental things that you can do to help the environment, all the alternative lifestyles. So you can even go on their website, projetecosphere.org. So without any further ado, Trisha, please enlighten us with your knowledge of clairvoyance.
Okay. I guess I prefer, in a way, clairvoyance, I think, is a developed form of intuition. So all of us are born with some intuition, and some people have a more developed intuition than others. For example, some people might be born with the capacity to sing really well, and other people, they have to work at it, okay? So it's the same thing with intuition. And yet, in the culture that we're living in, it's only pretty recently that, it wasn't that long ago that for 400 years that there was witch burnings.
Yes.
And that women were, and men were called witches if they showed any signs of working with the intuition or clairvoyance or the sixth sense in any way, shape, or form. So it's only pretty recently in our culture that we're coming back to realizing this is a part of who we are, is that we have this sixth sense. And for me, I'm now teaching clairvoyant training, and for me it's really a healing thing to do. Because as a child, I had a lot of psychic experiences which I figured out pretty early I couldn't really talk to anybody, or that nobody could really explain to me. I had a very strong sense of the invisible world and a strong sense of spirit. I had a strong sense of people coming from the other side. And I was not living in an environment where this was really recognized around me. So I always had my ears and eyes open for any kind of clue of anybody that knew anything about this, because I had enough self-respect to realize that this was who I am and a part of what I am.
Did it not, the fact that it wasn't encouraged, did it diminish your abilities, you think, or...?
Well, I was a teenager in the 60s and early 70s, so that really helped. Because
says it all.
In that culture, we kind of were going against whatever the norm was, and I think I was very fortunate because I was able to fully explore who I was, and I didn't have to fit I think if I'd been born 10 years earlier, it would have been more difficult. However, my intuitive abilities are so strong, I think that they would have surfaced anyway, eventually. But increasingly, as I became a healer and was doing energy work, I was having more and more insightful experiences. Seeing colors in the auric field, presences in the room, getting information. I wasn't sure where it came from. And I even went through a period when I became, people that were like me, I think they'd be diagnosed as oversensitive. Sometimes you could get these highly sensitive people who're standing near a microwave and can't stand it and this kind of thing. Well, the reason I went and did my 2-year clairvoyant training program with Psychic Horizons of Boulder, Colorado was because I wanted to get better boundaries and to understand how my intuition worked. I really wanted to heal myself and feel better. Because
you were so sensitive.
Because I was so sensitive. And becoming more sensitive, I was living in the woods and doing a lot of energy work. And just, I think, I kind of believe that there's a bigger plan to things. I was supposed to get more sensitive. The day before 9/11, I was a total basket case. I was seeing it. These kinds of experiences. And, that's not that uncommon. If you go and you type into the internet experiences or put in premonitions plus 9/11, there's like 10,000 hits will come up. It's unbelievable how many people. So I started to, a number of experiences like that, where I realized I was picking up on world events and that they were affecting me, and that energy was in my space and not making me very comfortable. So when I went to do my training, it was not to become a clairvoyant. I was perfectly happy doing the work I was doing. It was simply to widen my own knowledge and heal myself. And turned out that I had some pretty good abilities. My teachers let me know that quite quick. And I loved it. It was sort of like learning how to build a house. You have to dig a hole and make a foundation, and you spend a few months doing that. And how to. It's really just like a step-by-step process. Very, very concrete, very grounded. And I loved practicing. It very much like when I was a musician. I just loved practicing. Nobody had to force me to practice.
That's good.
Musical instruments or my voice, and so. And that's always an indication that you're doing something that's right for you, because there's a lot of joy and it's ease. So I did my training, 2-year training, and graduated. I graduated from this school, which is affiliated with the Psychic Berkeley Institute, and did my teacher's training. And then started to do one-on-one clairvoyant readings with people, and realized that I was really helping people a lot with what the information I was giving them. My interest is to help people on their path. It's I'm not always going to give them answers about the future, but we can look at the energy as it is now, and there can be some guidance in making choices and how to heal certain issues and how to move forward. And so I see it as really, I'm still a healer. I'm just doing it with my third eye.
Fascinating. There's a lot of mystery around clairvoyance, and I feel that it should be demystified, because really there's, like you said, there's a lot of people who already have this. I believe we're all born with it. I think it's our culture that discourages it or encourages it. I think children are very sensitive, and they're constantly being squished, if they have anything showing any signs of being different. So I think it's great that there's this actual training available, and you're going to be doing this training at the center in Sutton.
That's correct. It's so exciting. I'm really happy about that. Yeah, that's going to be starting right towards, I think it's a Friday night, the end of September, and then 4 consecutive Sundays. It's a 24-hour course, and this in 24 hours, one will have the basic grounding skills in order to perform a very basic, again, the word's basic, clairvoyant reading. We'll have enough information that they can be working on their own. I start by teaching